Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And according to some rando on Forbes, from the boys to the rings of power, everyone is tired of toxic fans.
Everyone's tired of toxic media.
Yeah, the media is not tired. Not tired of toxic fans at all because it's great for clicks. It's great for drumming up interest in shows that people normally would just ignore. And it's all about that. It's all part of the marketing. I swear to God, I think this is, we've had years to think about it. I think it's part of the marketing strategy.
Well, anymore, it's like if they even get a whiff that someone might not like this, they immediately start with, oh, it's because you're an istophobe.
Preemptively. Again, look at the difference. And we haven't really talked too much about the Lord of the Rings regards. It'll come up in this conversation, but we haven't talked too much about it in regards to, you know, the Black Hobbit debacle. Is this Hobbit Gate now? Is that where we're going? Oh, they're not actually Hobbit. They're Hobbit adjacent. So whatever.
But before we get into any further,
please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Almost 276,000 subs. Thank you. Over $51,000 on Crimson Rhen. So if you guys want some no bullshit, straight up entertainment, definitely check out Crimson Rhen. Our stories are not preachy.
It's a story to have a good story.
It's just to have fun and action and adventure.
So I guess it's a story we want to watch.
Yeah, this is basically something we would watch or read, and Geeky wrote it. I helped with the script, and Jose Garcia is doing the art, and he's doing an amazing job. Geeky also did an amazing job.
So did you.
We're all winners.
Wonder. Let's pat ourselves on the back. Ready?
Yay.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, well, before we get into this, when you think about the media and the narrative they spin, what IPs always come to mind? Because everyone gets mentioned in this article. So what are the ones that come to your head?
The Last Jedi.
Of course. Oh, and then Ghostbusters. And then in this case, they're going to go with the Rings of Power.
Sandman, which there was some backlash, but most people forgot it existed.
Probably Reva.
Oh God, yeah. So anything Star Wars, basically.
But the ones they John Boyega and all that shit will probably come up.
John Boyega was shitting on Disney too.
The same, because of Twitter. The same tired bullshit arguments is what we're going to get here, because toxic fans, and it's only the real toxic fans that it's every complaint's because of toxicity. But what happens is anytime you make any complaint about these shows, even if it's a very obvious issue, it's automatically dismissed as istophobia. That's the problem. They're like, I see it on the internet. Well, when they're talking about racism, if you're not a racist, you don't have to worry about it. They're not talking about you. But it doesn't matter. Even I've seen black people called racist because people assumed they were white because they said they didn't like something. One
of the biggest critics on YouTube of The Lord of the Rings is actually just some black guy, who's a huge Tolkien fan. And he's even like...
That's just because he's a racist.
He's a racist.
I'm just like, you don't have any criticisms unless you're against women, or you're a racist or whatever. Even when you are a woman, even when you aren't white, it doesn't matter. It's just every criticism is dismissed as istophobia. That's the problem. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. I can't even get legitimately angry anymore.
I can.
At first I was, because I see what they're doing. I see what
they're doing too. I'm just tired of them bullying people.
They're not. I think this is part of the marketing. I swear to God.
Well, it's really stupid.
It's stupid marketing. But this is like millennial Gen Z Twitter harebrained TikTok generation marketing. And I think what happens is before these shows come out, like you were just saying, they sit down, they're like, there are black people in the show. And the interest in the show is not really tracking.
No, I think it goes back further than that. We need to put XYZ type people in the show so that we can claim that if people don't like the show, it's because they don't like those kinds of people. It's like they're basically misusing people as shields.
Yeah, they are. And they're leading with that. How many months did you have to hear about freaking Reva before Obi-Wan? You heard more about Reva than you did about Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, which should have been a pretty good indication.
Well, I would argue more for the Lord of the Rings show that all you saw was every diverse character ever ahead of it.
That's all you heard about, because that's all they had. Because it was they can't say, this is an homage to Tolkien, and we were very careful to make sure we didn't step outside the boundaries because they basically made a bunch of shit up.
From my understanding, the character everybody seems to like the most in the new show is the Dwarf Queen. And it's a woman, she's black, and she's overweight. By all your arguments, everybody should hate her. So I'm just like, it's so tiring.
It is. And look, I mean, we've spent years talking about this and what is going on. And it's always the same handful of media outlets, or it's some rando, like this guy's some rando on Twitter, and he gets handed the megaphone and he wants to stick it to the chuds. And I guarantee you there's some palms being greased behind the scenes. And this is all about creating a narrative that the fans are assholes if they don't like the subpar
And all that, and then telling
product.
people that, you have to like it or keep your opinions to yourself, because you wouldn't want people to think that you're a terrible person, would you? Because you don't like our shitty show.
Hi, my name is Neon, and I am a terrible person.
That's right.
I'm a really fucking awful person, and I don't give a shit what you think about me.
Hi,
so
my name's
whatever.
Geeky, and I still think your show is shit. Anyway, so let's look at this article in quotes.
Just all
There
the
it
check.
is.
All the check. You can't make this up. Like this feels like a Babylon Bee article. Like, oh my God, those.
There it is, all of it.
All of
Okay,
the first
so
three
wait.
paragraphs.
Star Wars
Holy
Force
shit.
Awakens and the female Ghostbusters reboot. Okay, I want to bring up about the Ghostbusters reboot. They keep going on about it. The problem people have with the Ghostbusters reboot initially was, we don't need another Ghostbusters movie. We're tired of fucking reboots. They didn't even care that it was all women. When they found out what the casting was, they cared more because, like, this casting shit. But the original argument wasn't about women. It was about, why do we need another Ghostbusters movie?
Yeah, and it had no ties to the original. Now, Ghostbusters.
That's true. Had it been ties to the original, it would have done better.
Yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out. Guess what? The lead character is an autistic girl. And guess what? People liked it. For the most part, people liked it. It
Yeah.
did pretty okay.
Listen to this. The ugliness was on display following Disney's Star Wars The Force Awakens. Actually, no, it really wasn't until we get on The Force Awakens, and everybody in the group loved it. The person who said they thought Rey was a Mary Sue was me. I got tits, so it's not misogyny, okay? Anyway, he said, and then the all-female Ghostbusters reboot sticks out as a flashpoint because it sucked, in which the surge of rabid misogyny and racism. Well, I'm so damn glad this man is here to mansplain me and tell me what a misogynist this woman is.
Yes, it's a white guy, by the way. It's
Right.
A white
It was
guy.
difficult to separate from legitimate criticism. No, it's not that difficult to separate from legitimate criticism. The problem is people like this dipshit take any argument. You say, I don't like the new Ghostbusters. Or the Ghostbusters with the women. I don't think the female cast was very good. Well, that's because you're misogynist. I didn't like The Force Awakens because I thought Rey was kind of, didn't have any real challenges. Well, that's because you're a misogynist. I didn't like the Ghostbusters reboot. Well, it's because you're racist. Hey, let's talk about it. Which is more racisty? The person that liked the reboot, or the fact that the people behind the reboot made the black woman of someone who worked in the subway and not a scientist like the rest of them?
Yeah, that was a big complaint people had for years about Winston and Ghostbusters. And if you're really progressive, you would have made sure. that
She was one of the main scientists.
Yeah, that the only character who doesn't have a degree is the black woman with the street smarts.
But yes, it's the people that watched it that were racist and misogynistic. You can't separate legitimate criticism because they take every criticism, including all the legitimate criticism, and label it as istophobia. It's bullshit.
God, you can't even, like, this is like written by an AI. Like, write an article about The Last Jedi and Ghostbusters and toxic fans, Google. Okay. And this is what you get. Like, every fucking stupid, ridiculous talking point that's been beaten to death. This is the tropiest piece of shit I have ever read. This is why this guy's only got a handful of followers on Twitter, because he's not very good. And this article could have been written in 2017. It would have been the same damn thing. The exact same damn article.
You love this one. While the culture wars aren't exactly new, the derogatory term Mary Sue was coined back in the 70s. They have definitely escalated to an absurd degree. Again, I'm the one who called Rey a Mary Sue. All the guys that are with me never said it. I said it.
Yeah, you were one of the first to
I didn't
call her
like
out.
The Force Awakens. You guys all loved it. I thought it was a rehash, and I thought Rey was weak, and I was mad because I thought she could be. There's so much they could do so much more with her, and then they robbed Finn. So anyway, and who's a black guy, but I'm a racist and a misogynist.
Yes, well, just to interject here, John Boyega was subjected to racist abuse by Disney. By Disney, which he called out.
Right. But yes, it's just the fans. And the fans are the ones pointing out that Finn got robbed. There's a thriving industry on YouTube of anti-woke commentators churning out low-effort videos, much like this article, and that displays zero media literacy, much like this article, criticizing perceived wokeness in media, mostly meaning diverse casting. No!
Wrong answer.
You know, I think this person is a little salty. So we're going to take our channel and make a low-effort video. But you have zero media literacy there, Neon. I guess your years of an editor. Was this guy an editor?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. I don't think this guy's been an editor.
No, I'm just like seeing.
And working for Disney and media stuff.
Look, the reason I think we've been around the block. The reason I think this guy is doing this article and all these other.
Here's my ass. Kiss it.
She's actually pointing her ass at the microphone. Look at that. Look at that misogyny on display. Oh my God, your sexism is showing. I like to look at your sexism. Anyway, yeah, so talking zero media literacy, again, there's absolutely no nuance in this article. It's basically every tired, misguided bullshit talking point from every Polygon Mary Sue article.
Every hashtag you thought might get searched.
In 2017, 2018, when all this shit was going down. So I think this person is salty. I think this person probably either was a displaced journalist or wanted to be a YouTuber or something, or is looking for a cookie. Now, I've been speculating, I think a lot of these journos, because they know that the end is near, because the ad revenue is dropping and the venture capital is running out. I think they're looking to jump ship, and a lot of them fantasize about working in Hollywood, working in comic books, working in the gaming industry, or whatever the deal is.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to see what intriguing, fun things they write.
And so what they do is they basically suck dick. They suck Hollywood dick. But the reality is a lot of people, I'm going to tell you, as somebody who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Just FYI.
You know,
it better be a non-white Hollywood dick.
Women can have dicks now too. That's how this works. So everybody can have a dick.
True.
You've got a dick, and you've got a dick, and you've got 3 dicks. I don't know how that works, but apparently it's a thing. People can have 2 dicks. I've heard of people having 2 dicks.
But you gave him 3.
1 for the road.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you here, Mr. Danny. A lot of Hollywood is actually over the quote-unquote wokeness as well. And actually a lot of us who are media literate, who are fans of this stuff, enjoyed the hell out of woke shows like the original Masters of the Universe and She-Ra. They were very woke for their time. Star Trek, The Next Generation, a very woke show. Actually, many of the shows that we grew up watching in the 70s, 80s, 90s would be considered quote-unquote woke. The difference is that storytelling and characterization came first, so you really didn't notice. Now they lead with, oh my God, look at all the black people.
Well, that's what gets me too. Is like we grew up in a time where you didn't even think anything of it.
Nobody gave a shit.
You'd go, there's a movie come out and it would be starring a black person and you wouldn't care because it was like the big movie you had to see. And TV shows had mixed characters on the shows and no one cared.
And I love this because, like, do you not remember?
No, they weren't around then.
Some of the most popular shows in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
They don't remember. They weren't here.
Freaking Cosby Show, Fresh Prince, Jeffersons, the list goes on and on, right? We've been there, we've done that. Again, the difference is now subpar bullshit is being peddled to us. And usually what happens is it's not additive. It's not like we're adding more seats to the table and saying, hey, let's do some diverse whatever. And we're just going to put a good show out. It just happens to have a diverse cast or just happens to have gay character, whatever. Because we've been there, done that for decades. No, now it's about putting out subpar shit and leading with that and then making excuses.
You mean using the people as a shield?
Using them as a shield, making excuses for subpar shit and then audience blaming. The fan blaming is new.
But then saying that legitimate criticisms are okay. No, because every criticism, legitimate or not, you say it's this.
Okay, case in point. And I hate to keep bringing up Grace Randolph because I'm not trying to put a target on her, but she was the first person that I know of, because she got a screener, okay, Grace Randolph, who is progressive, left-leaning, and a woman, and a verified Rotten Tomatoes reviewer, who is also a YouTube commentator, right? So she gets a screener, and she says Galadriel is a Mary Sue.
And a Karen.
And a Karen. Somehow she managed to be both. And the media, the media-literate journalists ran with, the alt-right Yahtzees are saying that, calling her a Mary Sue and a Karen. We've seen comments to that effect on Rotten Tomatoes when it was actually a vetted YouTube commentator / movie reviewer / woman / left-leaning person who said it.
Yeah, I just think it's funny they're saying that people like us have zero media literacy when in reality probably have more actual media experience than this dumbass. Anyway, continue down the article.
Anyway. Yes, you'd be surprised at the people we talk to on any given week there, Danny. Anyway, for example, the most recent Predator movie, Prey, was torn apart by these commentators. Actually, I liked it.
Most people I saw said they liked it.
Yeah, it was okay. Actually, my biggest complaint with it was the CGI animals look like...
Yeah, they said it looked fake.
Yeah, it looked like the Jungle Book.
But there was no complaints about the actress. Thought the actress was good.
Now, the critical drinker who rips everything apart did rip it apart. But again, to say these people don't understand how Hollywood works. Mark Millar went on his show, I think. Like, these Hollywood people that you're saying hate all these YouTube commentators are actually landing interviews with some of the people behind these shows. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, they are landing interviews with some of the people behind these shows. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they're clearly... I guess that makes them media illiterate, but when they've got their agents reaching out and saying, hey, so-and-so wants to come on your show because you got like 1 million subs or something.
People actually listen to you.
Are you getting interviews with them?
That's why they're mad, because people actually listen
to the YouTube channel. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what's going on here. That's exactly
what else is on here? Keep going.
Commentators appear genuinely disappointed when the film was well received by fans. Being obsessively anti-woke is a sad, bitter existence. That was not the complaint a lot of people had. A lot of people were... That
blows their narrative.
Well, okay, again, let's talk about this. Danny, whatever your name is. Deny. I don't know. Deny.
Denies, but right.
Here's the thing. People commented on Prey because the marketing people behind it and journalists like yourself were all like, oh my God, the white men are mad that there's going to be a Native American girl in the Predator movie. I guess, because all Schwarzenegger's just getting too damn old for it. Deal with it, man babies. Years of that. Mm-hmm. That before the movie came out, which did the movie a huge disservice because I will tell you, I watched Prey with my son. I actually thought it was pretty okay. It wasn't the best thing ever, but for a Hulu movie, it was pretty okay. If you hadn't led with it, Sandman, and Neil Gaiman comes up again. I was turned off to Sandman because all they talked about was Sandman. Wasn't Sandman, but it was all like, everybody's angry that Death is going to be played by a black lady because all the bigots and the Nazis and the bigots. Nah. Instead of like, hey, here's the guy playing Sandman, and hey, here are the visuals, and it looks damn near like the comic. And
for years they've taken characters out of comics and things and race bent or gender bent characters. It's nothing new.
It's Netflix.
But not even just that. Even before Netflix, and people didn't care. Some people got upset. I'm not saying not everybody, but for the majority, people didn't care. And I'm not going to say that there's no toxic assholes out there. There are. They come on both sides of the political spectrum. I want to point out, but. There are some people that are istophobic asshats, but for the majority of people that make criticisms, and for the majority of people like our channel, we're just pointing out what other people are thinking because they're being vilified before something even comes out, before they even had a chance to judge it for themselves by people like this dipshit. Anyway, they're talking about that it's receding because people are coming out about talking about their bigotry, about what that have happened, and speaking against bigotry, and they're talking about the Rings of Power and bigoted Tolkien fans, about diverse casting. Because it wasn't in the fucking source material. That's what people said.
That was my. I mean, I don't.
You're actually what you're doing, buddy. Is you're turning people off with this bullshit. You're trying to bully people into thinking that, I'm a bad person if I don't like these shows because only bad people don't like these shows. But what you're doing is you're actually harming the shows and the actors and all that by keeping this shit up.
So I'm gonna postulate that Danny here doesn't actually give a shit about any of these people, any of these shows, any of these actors, any of the drama. All Danny cares about is virtue signaling to Twitter that he's a good guy and you should hire him for something. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. I don't think Danny gives a shit. And again, because they led with all they got is, we got brown hobbits and you better deal with it, you racists. It's like, nah, you're just making shit up. Like all of this, you're just making shit up. Actually,
yes, this one I love. I saw the one with Sean Austin, and it's like, everybody's welcome here. And here's the thing, I'm like, but if everybody's welcome here, and you're standing up against it, and you think racism's terrible, why did you all agree to do the movies 20 years ago with only white characters? Wouldn't you stand up and be like, wait, this is wrong. We need more characters of color. If you're so against it, and it's such a terrible thing, why did you sit back and do nothing?
Did you participate in the racism? No, I'll tell you what they're doing. Look, the reason that these celebrities do this, one, we don't know what celebrities are actually being told. Okay.
That's true.
Two, they also want to make sure they don't get canceled. You want, if your livelihood now depends on convention appearances, well, you don't want to be the racist ex-hobbit, do you? You better wear that t-shirt so everybody knows you're a good hobbit.
Right.
Not a bad hobbit.
Right, but I just think it's funny. Racism's so terrible in Lord of the Rings, then why did you participate in it 20 years ago? Because the boys showrunner. The thing is, if people are harassing people for real, I don't ever agree with that.
Yeah, and look, we've said that repeatedly. Now, I can't speak to anybody else's channel, and what happens a lot of times is these people will go out of their way to find the most obnoxious, trollish, legitimately racist people
that do exist.
That do exist, unfortunately, and they always have, but they're going to find them to support their bullshit article where they're denigrating a huge group of people. They're just tired of being told that they're bigots and racists and homophobes.
Again, it comes down to, legitimate criticism. You don't allow legitimate criticism.
Define
no
that.
matter what criticism exists, it's because they're istophobes. That's the problem. Even when people have legitimate criticism, it is dismissed. And I see people that were not white get told they were racist. I've been told I'm a misogynist. And I'm a woman. It's automatically dismissed, even if you are the person that's supposedly that the target group that has to have a voice, because it doesn't go along with what they want to hear. So this whole idea that fair criticism is out there is a lie.
The toxic fringe of the boys fandom don't understand the show's mocking far-right culture warriors, despite the satire having the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
I thought that was pretty obvious.
I thought pretty... Now, here's the thing. Look, again.
Oh, here we go. That's the Ingram told you.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Is it... Oh, my God. Is there a checklist? I mean, seriously. Like, I know when people write articles...
There's a Sandman.
They have, like, an SEO checklist. Like, if you're trying to get indexed for... Like, here's all the talking points, They literally just have a list. Like, this is the most tropish garbage article I've ever... This is like rewriting Ripley with a beard. Like, the guy's got a beard.
Again, media literacy is not their strength. Most people understood that, what the boys was. It's pretty damn obvious.
So let's go back again to the 1980s. Star Trek The Next Generation, which today, I'm sure, would be like, oh, the Chuds hate the fact that there's a black Klingon and there's a black man who's blind. Oh, my God.
Didn't even care.
Most people didn't. Now, I do remember there being very slight backlash about Worf, because at the time, Klingons had been white dudes that they just tanned. And Michael Dorn was, I believe, the first black person to play a Klingon, but it wasn't overblown to the place where it would have been now. Same with Tuvok, playing a black Vulcan. It just was like, oh yeah, he just happens to be a black guy.
I just accepted it automatically.
I never really thought about it.
Because it wasn't a point. It wasn't like, okay, that's the actor.
That's the difference.
It was just, okay, yeah, okay.
That's the difference. Those shows were allowed to stand on their own, and there wasn't like, I could be mistaken, but I don't remember there being article after article after article about like, oh my God, the Vulcans are black now and so are the Klingons. What the hell's going on in the galaxy, everybody?
Because everybody hates them, and so they're all bigots.
The bigots are out.
And it goes on again about Sandman. Keep going down. My head is killing me.
A huge disservice to, again, because the entire conversation was around Death being played by a black girl. You cannot like that because of the fact that she was kind of, in the 80s, she was a poster child for goth, pasty skin, white gothic, whatever. I actually liked Sandman. I knew there were changes going into it, but you did the show a huge disservice by making the entire conversation about race. you did the show a huge disservice. If you just dropped it and talked more about how amazing the special effects were and how, the guy playing Sandman was like lifted right off the page and focused more on the positive aspects instead of just being like, oh yeah, and by the way, all the bigots are mad. Nah, that just tells people not to watch it.
Yeah.
So 0 fucks. And everybody, of course, they're gonna say this. They're all gonna say this because celebrities don't want to get canceled. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of celebrities out there that say one thing on Twitter and do something else in private. Not saying that any of these do, but there are also a hell of a lot of people in Hollywood who are tired of being held hostage by activists trying to dictate the content.
I love this. Frankly, just about everyone who is involved in media production or enjoys engaging with media criticism seems sick and tired of battling trolls, bigots, and bad faith critics. Then why are you still writing?
Well, yeah, just quit.
Do the world a favor and quit. Because you're the cause of it. People like you are the cause of it. You're the ones trolling people. You're the ones calling everybody bigots. You're the bad faith critic going around the checklist of SEO terms and examples that are tired and exhausted. You didn't even do any media literacy and research to find new examples. And then I love it. After all, there are plenty of legitimate criticisms to make about these shows that don't involve the word woke. People make them all the time, and you still tell them that it's because it's woke, and then because they're anti-whatever istophobes.
We try to on this.
Fuck you.
If we use the term woke, I'll usually say quote unquote woke.
I rarely use it. I hate it.
We rarely use it. I can't remember the last time I even used the term SJW.
I don't use that either. I don't use cuck. I don't use soy boy. I don't use chud. I don't use any of those terms because I think they're not necessary and I don't like them.
My feeling on it is if you can't intelligently shoot down somebody's argument without resorting to name calling. And I'm not, look, whatever other people want to do, that's, whatever. I'm not dunking on anybody, whatever. But it's the same with the media too. Like if you can't make your point without being
toxic men.
The toxic Nazi.
Trolls.
Right. Oh my God. Oh my God. They probably follow somebody on Twitter.
They're bigots. They're all bigots.
Who might be right leaning or right adjacent.
The last paragraphs that pissed me off the most, though. It's like there's a lot of legitimate criticisms to be made. Yes, there are. But anytime anybody makes them, and they don't even use the term woke, you immediately dismiss it as istophobia. If it's not glowing praise, it's istophobia. That is the problem. People like Danny here are the problem.
Yeah, because he's a toxic white male.
So going out there, is he white? I don't know. Going out there starting shit.
He's white adjacent.
Going out there starting shit just to make people fight, just to have them fight against each other and call each other names, just to be like, you're istophobe, so that, just fuck you all day long in a painful, unfun way.
Oh God, no, that's horrible. So here's my thing. Like, look, I'm gonna tell you, the media loves this. They love fighting the trolls.
He just loves getting clicks. He gets paid more.
Yes, because a lot of these news
outlets,
if he gets paid, a lot of these media outlets do pay more based on traffic, and everything's loaded, and they want YouTubers to tear them apart. And basically, you're being replaced. Danny, you're being replaced by
that's what Danny's afraid of.
YouTube commentators.
Does Danny have a YouTube channel?
I don't give a shit. I don't care. You're being replaced. People are tuning out of your websites and they're tuning into YouTube, and they're not all racist and bigots and misogynists. They're just looking for a little bit of a different opinion or some truth for once, because all the media, most of it,
or somebody isn't telling them they're a shitty person if they don't love something. Because back in the day, if you didn't like it, you just didn't like it. If you loved it, that was okay too. It didn't make you a terrible person because you didn't like it.
Nerds have been fighting over comics and movies and video games and all the shit for decades. I mean, going back to freaking Star Trek in the 60s and 70s. But the whole, racism, homophobic bullshit angle, that's the media. That is 100% the media. Actually, studios, if you're listening, and we know you listen, because believe it or not, we do get invites to shit for not being real journalists or any of that. You need to watch these journalists because they're doing more damage trying to stir shit up and make fights where there really aren't fights. They're doing more disservice to your shows by focusing on the wrong things. The marketing for your shows that might have been accepted otherwise is dog shit, because you've got people out there writing articles calling a bunch of people bigots and homophobes, and guess what? They're not even going to give your show a chance.
Well, lead with your show, not with, diversity and agenda and all that shit. And you'll have people where people watch it.
House of the Dragon, okay? Again, just the difference. Now, I'm not saying that the actors on House of the Dragon haven't gotten backlash. I'm sure there's shitty people out there saying shitty things
no matter what
to actors. They're going to. You could be white, straight actor and you're going to get shit too.
It's been going on since actors existed. I mean, it goes with the territory.
Unfortunately, it goes with the territory. But you're not hearing nearly as much about House of the Dragon because you know what? They just dropped the show. They believed in the show. And all the marketing that led up to it, as far as I could see, was, hey, this is a prequel to Game of Thrones. It has George R.R. Martin's blessing. And Watch it. Oh, and Matt Smith. You want to see Matt Smith? Yeah, we got him too. That's literally the marketing. You could have done that with Lord of the Rings. But immediately they started picking fights with because they knew the show was not that good. And they started picking fights with the audiences prematurely. The Orville drops like, hey, here's our kind of quasi Star Trek show, whatever, we're gonna drop it, got a diverse cast, doesn't matter, whatever, watch the show, it's fun. Versus actual Star Trek, oh my God, we've got diverse people, we've got black people in Star Trek for the very first time. Don't tell Uhura, don't tell LeVar Burton. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Danny, keep your resume refreshed. Keep it updated.
Yeah, stop mansplaining me.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have a job there very much longer. Bye.